All right, so let's jump right in. You've heard the stories a million times, right? But have you ever really stopped and wondered, why there? Why the Sea of Galilee? I mean, of all the places in the world, what was so special about this one lake that it became the main stage for arguably the most influential person in history? Well, that's what we're going to dig into. So when I say Sea of Galilee, what pops into your head? Probably something like this, right? These serene, glassy waters, calm shores. It just looks like the perfect place for a quiet reflection, for miracles to happen. It's the postcard image of peace. But what if that's only one side of the coin? What if that picture-perfect peace is just not the whole story? What if this sea had a secret? A dark side, almost. A really volatile, unpredictable nature that, it turns out, made it the perfect backdrop for showing off a totally different kind of power.
Okay, so to really get the story, you gotta understand the stage it's set on. And Galilee, it wasn't some sleepy, quiet little town. No way. Its geography, its location, everything about it made it this pressure cooker where something big was just waiting to happen.
Okay, get this. Here's a little fact that just changes everything. The Sea of Galilee, it isn't at sea level, not even close. It's sitting in this deep, deep basin, almost 700 feet below sea level. I mean, think about that for a second. That makes it one of the lowest freshwater lakes on the entire planet. And that one little fact, it has some seriously dramatic consequences. Because what happens is this unique geography creates like the perfect recipe for disaster. You've got this cool, heavy air from the mountains all around it just plummeting down, and it smashes right into the warm, humid air coming up from the lake. The results? These sudden, unbelievably violent storms that can whip up out of nowhere. The sea can go from being totally calm to life-threateningly dangerous in just a matter of minutes. And it wasn't just the weather that was dynamic. The whole region was buzzing with activity. A massive international highway of its day, the Via Maris, which literally means the way of the sea, ran right through here. It connected huge empires like Egypt and Mesopotamia. So you had people, ideas, cultures, languages, all mixing together. That's why they called it Galilee of the Gentiles. It was a true crossroads, which, if you think about it, is the perfect launchpad for a message you want to spread to the entire world.
And what's really wild is that this wasn't an accident. In fact, you can go back centuries earlier, and the prophet Isaiah actually points to this exact spot. He talks about this land of blended cultures, this land of the shadow of death, and says that's where great light is going to dawn. So it's almost like the stage was being set for a very, very long time.
So you've got this incredible stage, right? Well, every stage needs its actors. And here, on the shores of this wild, unpredictable sea, Jesus doesn't go for the obvious choices. He doesn't call the academics or the religious leaders. He calls fishermen. Which makes you wonder, right? Why them? Out of everybody he could have picked, what was it about these guys, these fishermen, that made them the right people for the job?
Well, think about what it takes to be a fisherman. First off, you gotta have patience and discipline. Every single day, you're dealing with forces you have absolutely no control over. The wind, the waves, whether the fish are even biting. It's humbling. You're living with this constant mystery, trying to read these tiny signs in a world just beneath the surface. Their whole life was basically a cycle of faith, wasn't it? You cast your net, you wait, and you have to trust.
And this isn't just some nice, poetic idea. We have cold, hard proof. Archaeologists recently dug up something incredible. A massive stone pier from the 1st century, right there in Capernaum. This was their office. This was where they worked every day. You can almost picture Jesus walking right along this very pier when he called out to them. Okay, so all of this, the volatile sea, the character of these fishermen, it all comes to a head in one incredible, pivotal moment. This is where everything collides in a single, absolutely dramatic scene. Just try to put yourself in their shoes for a second. A storm just explodes out of nowhere. The boat is swamping, filling with water. And remember, these aren't tourists. These are tough, experienced fishermen who grew up on this lake. If they're scared, you know this is a storm of a completely different magnitude. And that cry of theirs, "Teacher, don't you care that we're perishing?" It's more than just fear. It's a crisis of faith right in that moment.
And you know what? They had every right to be terrified. The original Greek in the text uses a really specific, powerful word for this storm, seismos. Sound familiar? Yeah, it's the root word for earthquake. So this wasn't just a bad storm. It felt like the whole world was being violently shaken apart around them.
And Jesus' response? He doesn't whisper a prayer. He doesn't make a gentle request. He stands up and issues a command. The first Greek word he uses is siope, and it's an order. It means be silent, be mute. It's like he's literally telling the storm, you no longer have a voice.
And then he follows it up with a second word, pephemos, which is even more intense. This word means be muzzled. It's the kind of command you'd give to a savage, snarling animal. He's not just asking the storm to be quiet, he is taming it. He's putting a leash on it. So when we hear the English translation, peace, be still, it sounds calm, right? But now, knowing the original Greek, you can feel the incredible power packed into those words. This wasn't a suggestion. This was the command of a master to something that had to obey. And what about the disciples? Well, their fear of the storm, it vanished. But it was immediately replaced by a totally new kind of fear, an awe. They looked at Jesus and realized that whatever was raging outside the boat was nothing compared to the power that was sitting right there inside it. So, what's the big takeaway here? This whole story isn't really about a miraculous weather report. It's a revelation. It's a story designed to answer the exact question the disciples were asking. Who is this guy? The contrast couldn't be more stark, could it? On one side, you have the storm. That's chaos, fear, doubt, that feeling that everything is falling apart. And on the other side, you have the word, that command from Jesus. And that's calm. It's faith. It's power and a deep stillness right in the middle of all that chaos. So, in the end, this whole dramatic event on this very specific, very volatile sea was all about one thing: identity. It was a demonstration designed to show his followers, and by extension us, that Jesus wasn't just a great teacher or prophet. No, he was the one who had authority over the very fabric of creation. And that kind of leaves us with one last question to chew on, doesn't it? The Sea of Galilee was the perfect stage because it proved that, yeah, the storms in life are very, very real, but so is the authority over them. The story isn't promising a life without storms, not at all. The real question is, when your storm hits, who do you have in the boat with you?